Hello students, this video is based on the question answers of the chapter The Diary of Anne Frank. So let's discuss the question answers. First question, what makes writing in a diary a strange experience for Anne Frank? Answer, writing in a diary is a strange experience for Anne Frank because neither had she written anything like it before, nor did it seem to her that later on she or anyone else would be interested in the musings of a 13-year-old schoolgirl. Next question, why does Anne want to keep a diary? Anne wants to keep a diary because she wanted to write and has an ever greater need to get all kinds of things off her chest. Next, why did Anne think she could confide more in her diary than in people? Anne thought she could confide more in her diary than in people because she did not have one true friend in whom she could confide. When she was with friends, she would have a good time but could not talk about anything but ordinary, everyday things. She realized that she wouldn't get any closer with her friends. Next, why does Anne provide a brief sketch of her life? Anne provides a brief sketch of her life as she realizes that no one would understand a word of her stories to Kitty if she were to plunge right in. Next, what tells you that Anne loved her grandmother? Answer, Anne says that no one knows how often she thinks of her grandmother and still loves her. This tells us that Anne loved her grandmother. Next, why was Mr. Casing annoyed with Anne? What did he ask her to do? Mr. Casing was annoyed with Anne because she was very talkative. He asked her to write an essay entitled Chatterbox. Next question, how did Anne justify her being a chatterbox in her essay? Anne justified her being a chatterbox by writing that talking is a student's trait. She would do her best to keep it under control, but she would never be able to cure herself of the habit since her mother talked as much as she did, if not more. Then there is not much you can do about inherited traits. Next question, do you think Mr. Casing was a strict teacher? Answer, no. Mr. Casing was not a strict teacher because after several warnings he assigned Anne only extra homework. Next, what made Mr. Casing allow Anne to talk in the class? When Mr. Casing had had enough of Anne's talkative ways, he told her to write a third essay as punishment. It was entitled Quack Quack Quack, said Mistress Chatterbox. Anne had by now nearly exhausted her ingenuity on the topic of chatterboxes. It was time to come up with something original. Her friend Sane, who was good at poetry, offered to help her write the essay from beginning to end in verse. Anne thought that Mr. Casing was trying to play a joke on her with this ridiculous subject, so she was going to make sure the joke was on him. However, Mr. Casing found the poem very amusing and allowed Anne to talk in class. So this was all about the question answers of the chapter. Now in the next video, I'll come up with some other chapter. Thank you.